so much action in this final hour of trades means we need to head to the floor show. Traders Dutch Masters and Scott Bauer are joining us live. Scott, you're at the SIBO where they're trading stocks, options, futures. No doubt we've got market success, but also market stress. What kind of action are you seeing on the floor?
Yeah, no doubt about it, Liz. And actually here it's a little bit subdued, which is very odd given the circumstances here. But volatility is elevated. It's elevated from where it's been over the last few weeks. But it's not at a point where there's a lot of panic. Where there is a lot of panic, however, though, and where volatility is, I don't want to say off the charts, but extremely, extremely elevated, is in the treasury markets, and especially in treasury options. And what you're seeing there, Liz, there is a huge skew in treasury options, both to the out-of-the-money calls on the upside and out-of-the-money puts to the downside. And what traders and investors are looking for is there is going to be something big happening here one way or the other with the debt ceiling, and looking at these treasuries to make a huge move one way or the other. And, you know, you look at what you can do with a 1-month T-bill, almost getting 6% right now. I mean, that is absolutely just
to that
outrageous.
End, Scott, I noticed something.
Maybe it's there for a reason.
I noticed something, and I really wanted our viewers to see this, and you too, Dutch. I called it party of 5%, but now it's party of 6 for the 5%ers of all of the T-bills here. The 1 month, the 2 month, the 3 month, the 4 month, and the 6 month and the 1 year are all yielding more than 5%. What is that telling you right now? Scott?
Is that for me or Dutch?
Yeah,
Scott first and then Dutch.
Okay, so for me, what it's telling me is the government can't sell their debt. There's no buyers. So what they have to do is keep lowering and lowering the prices of these T-bills, which inverted, they're inverted to the yield, so yield is going up. There are just no buyers out there. People are concerned, and it's unbelievable that the U.S. government will not be able to pay this debt. Now, personally, I like going out. I'm not doing anything in the 1 month, even though you can get almost 6%. But I think if you go out 4-6 months or so, Liz, boy, if the U.S. government can't pay their debt by then, we've got bigger problems.
Okay, so you're saying 6 month. Dutch, I want your thought on, as we call it, the party of 5%, but also then we'll get to NVIDIA. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that, for the first time in a long time, Liz, we've got bonds that are providing enough of a yield to provide a little bit of competition for equities. It's been a long time, hasn't it? So yeah. I think that, I think that we're gonna pay the debt. I think that a lot of this fear mongering has been kind of ginned up. I think we have longer until then June 1st. So I just think it's kind of a political thing, and I'm not paying a lot of attention to it. Yeah, NVIDIA is really what I want to talk about. You bet.
Well, part of the reason the Dow is in the negative is because this NVIDIA-triggered sonic boom seems to be shattering Intel's windows. And you look at the sonic boom, that's what I'm calling it for NVIDIA. What are you doing today? It almost feels like you're that contrarian guy who is, well, as you put it, you're shorting Euphoria.
Well, yeah, and the last time we were on, we said that when we talked that tech was going to be leading us out, and we already had seen a buy trigger in the technicals on the NASDAQ. Now that's following through because 25% of the S&P is technology, and this is just an epic quarter, okay, Liz? I'm talking about an epic blow-off, and it is 100% warranted, okay? They deserve this. This was insane. Right. It was absolutely wonderful to see somebody monetize AI the way that NVIDIA did. But all semiconductors should not be thrown in the same basket, and they kind of are today. So I hate buying on spikes. I really hate buying spikes like this. The trader in me says, I want to be positioned before this kind of a move and be a seller. And if I'm not positioned on the long side, which we were not, by the way, I want to be short. I want to be shorting the. I want to be shorting this kind of euphoria.
Okay, but let me just say that part of the reason the SOX, the semiconductor index, is spiking so much is because NVIDIA is a component. It's up 25%, an absolute blowout, knocking the cover off the ball. The shorts are getting killed. Today alone, they're losing $2 billion plus, I'm assuming on paper. But year to date, they're down $8 billion. So isn't it a little dangerous to be shorting semiconductors overall, let alone NVIDIA?
It is, except that when you get a blow off like this and you look at NVIDIA from a historical standpoint, they have had blow offs in the past, and they do retrace, okay? And they do. I'm not looking for a huge retracement. I just want to see it retrace, 35 points. I cover my short, and I'm not shorting NVIDIA itself. I would not do that. I don't like that idea at all.
I would think so. Scott, Dutch is not paying too much attention. Well, he's out there in Vegas with his carnivore buddies and their motorcycles. He's not paying too much attention to what's going on in D.C., but those guys are leaving Dodge. The House members are done for the next week, I believe, and that also encompasses the June 1st deadline, although Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said everybody should be ready to get back into town next week if indeed there's a deal upon which to be voted. But what should we be looking for in the markets if there are starting to be more stresses?
Well, what I'm looking at right now is if you look at the volatility in the market for tomorrow's options versus next Tuesday after the holiday, there is a massive, massive disparity. Volatility next week is actually very depressed. So I'm looking at selling some vol, very short-term vol, and I'm buying vol for next week because whether we get a move higher or lower, it can be a very, very large move. I think volatility is way too low. I also think it's unconscionable that they leave Washington without this deal being done.
Well, the Democrats are saying that, but go ahead, Dutch. You think so too?
Well, I agree also. I think they ought to wrap this thing up. And this is just kind of silly, but I want to give a shout out. A lot of the carnivores are watching you today from Las Vegas. We're doing another academy here at the LVX Mansion, and we all love Liz Claman.
You know what? Well, listen, love right back at them. I know they're contrarians. And then you got the balance with the reality of the team at the SIBO right there with Scott, because you guys are the ones that are really seeing some of the serious action. Great to have you both. Scott, Dutch, we're looking at the